Hey guys, interesting morning of trading today. So if you are out there and you're trying to figure out what to make of these earnings and the Fed announcements and everything, Abbott had blowout earnings, had great earnings, right? It's way down, having the worst day it's had since I don't even remember. But, so we were looking for that as an opening gap reversal. We waited. It came in, kept coming in, just kept on going, right? So no trade on Abbott. So the opening gap trades this morning were kind of duds, right? They fizzled. They didn't really do anything. Didn't have a bunch of triggers. That's okay because there were plenty of other opportunities in the market. Nasdaq is trending, so we've got lots of good QQQ and NQ opportunities, and we've had a bunch of stuff pop up in the Magnificent Seven, as well as some of the things that the guys in our war room are talking about. So let's take a look at the charts and see where everything's going. Here it is. You are looking at the chart of the NASDAQ. Let's start there in the bottom left corner here of your screen. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you so you can see what is going on. There you see it. So it has been up and away just all morning today. I'm going to say that the best opportunity for an entry here, so similar to what happened earlier, when we were talking in the room, we were talking about the pullback that it had down into 558.68 from that 559.77 level. That gave us a great opportunity, right, for a shot straight back up again. Got into that overhead resistance, kept right on going. Who cares? I was talking to the guys about bracket orders, and I popped a video out there earlier that everybody can look at about the perils and promise of using bracket orders, and it's fantastic when it gets you out right there and then reverses and you got out for a profit and it winds up back down here somewhere, and then the other side of the coin is it gets you out right there and boom, keeps going, and you miss out on the next stretch. You cannot lament coulda, woulda, shoulda. You should just be focusing on what is. So we had no opening trade in Apple today. I'm going to say Apple's a little bit dead in the water for me right now. If it were to come back up into this area that it reversed from earlier, which I don't know how likely that is, but if we get up into 210.77 and see another tag of that line there, I would probably say I'll go short right from 210.77 and look for a move back down, but it's going to be tight. So a lot of these today are tight. That's just down to 210.40 right there at the central pivot. A couple other things are, trading really nice and geometrically. Amazon is not one of them, but you can see Google. Google is in the box, squarely in the range there. That's got about 50 cents worth of range from the low band down at 183.02 up to the high band 183.53. I know it's below the central pivot. I know that makes it tempting for everybody to want to short it. I think this is a long. So at this point, if you look at what it's done over the course of the session, this has been pretty much straight up, even though it started down low, gapped down lower, got down to the 181.75 level. That's our S2, I should say. So Mike was asking in the room about the pivot lines and what they mean. Once you get down on an open into your second support, you've got a fairly high probability, about 77% of the time, you are going to move back up into the range between that support line and the next support line. So you're going to move back up into the range between S2 and S1. Doesn't say how far you're going to move. Doesn't say what the ultimate magnitude of the move is going to be. But the fact of the matter is you're probably going to move. We had Meta. So Meta this morning was a big one. So Meta, this managed to go, and on last night's trading plans, you had Meta on the around the horn, the volatility band plan. It went and ran all the bands. So 705.71 on top, down to 699.50, $6.21 per share traded on Meta. This was just on an open that managed to push everything into the right direction. Once you're up into the central pivot like that and then make the reversal down through, it's highly, highly probable that those volatility bands are going to wind up getting run. Again, we're looking at those from order flow objectives based on yesterday's trading. Microsoft also, did exactly what we expected it to do, but it is up and away. I don't think there's a bunch of opportunity there going into the afternoon. Just had one of our friends in the room ask about Carvana. And, there's an expensive stock. So this is $357 at the level that we're looking at it from. But it is an interesting trade. If you look at the chart here, it looked like it was going to be really a big up day for it, but it got into all this stuff from yesterday. It retested all that overhead resistance, and when it did, boy howdy, it came down pretty quick. It had a repeat move of yesterday's closing move. So you had a measured move back down into the range and really managed to repeat just about everything it did. If I'm looking at this, and I look at this move back up into that central pivot, I'm guessing that that is going to wind up being a fib retracement. Okay, so from that high down to that low, look at that, it's right on the money. So 38.2% Fibonacci retracement is going to be right on top of the volume by price data out here. This is going to be sell side volume by price. So I can almost guarantee you when it gets back up there, unless it can chew through there, that's a level it's going to move lower from. The other confirming indication that you have right there is this guy, right? So the pivot line is overlapping with a natural support and resistance line, and it's overlapping with that anchored volume weighted average price. Those are all real good indications that if we get there again, you're going to see a repeat performance and possibly a move back down into that 349.99 level. I would say the first place that I'm going to look at in terms of a target, though, would be closer to maybe 351.35, 351.40, somewhere in there. Tesla's been trading nicely, so if you look here, it is definitely in the box. And I've been waiting for it to come down into spot 25. So if it gets down into 320 and 25 cents, looking for a move back up into that 321.57 area. I'm going to put a loose target there and say if it gets up through 321.57, you can have a little bit of bleed back into that range, but you have a shot at getting up into 322.88. Then we had Coinbase. So we've had a bunch of people who were following Coinbase and looking at it in the room, and that's great. So if you join us in the war room, we talk about these things live all day, every day. But you can see here on Coinbase, we put in this top. And again, Mike asked about it. Very, very timely fashion. Got everybody in front of that opportunity for the move back down into this range. The rationale behind taking that trade is that, first off, you're out into your second resistance. So this is the overhead resistance this time. So once you're out to R2, you've got a very high probability, again, in the 70s, that you're going to see a reversion move back down. Now, the reversion move that we were looking for was down to that 410.54 number. And if you go to traderinsight.com and you look at the nightly trading recap, there will be a video there today explaining exactly what I'm saying about using bracket orders. I can show you just real quick here. Bracket orders to get in and out of trades, because you can see right there, those dots are where I got in and out. Now, I had a 1-by-1 bracket on that. That's a $1 profit versus a $1 loss. It's just a squared up bracket. Gets you into the trade very efficiently. It'll get you out of the trade efficiently if you're doing like a $200 stock or a $20 stock or a $30 stock. When you're trading a $400 stock, what it does, gets you in and almost immediately ticks you right back out again for your profit, because it doesn't take much to move something like Coinbase $1. So right now, let's keep an eye on this one for the rest of the session. If we get a move up to 410.54, if we get something that gets up into this range right here, and then we see a reversal signal, then we'll go ahead and look for another short sale opportunity. And at the very least, what we're going to do is target that orange line there, the VWAP on the chart, the session volume weighted average price. Should be a good place to look for a first target. We've had other things on the radar over the course of the day. NVIDIA is in play, as it usually is. Today, the range on this thing is a little bit better than it has been. So we've had real tight ranges on NVIDIA that make it difficult to trade. Right now it's up. It's kind of overextended. It got up into that pivot line. So if you guys are in the room, saw it 173.52 on the short side. We have a real tight stop up just like 173.75. First objective on this, 173.12. And if it gets down into the range, I don't think that it's going to have the legs to get down into this VWAP very, very easily, 172.64. I think more likely you're going to see it sort of hold up at 172.99 for a while, maybe oscillate in there, and then maybe have a chance for the break lower. We also had NuScale Power. So this is a nuclear play. Our buddy Bibbs brings this up in the room pretty regularly. He's focused on it, watching it, which is great, right? You need somebody who's got eyes on this kind of a thing to make heads or tails out of what's going on. Obviously, there's a lot of new interest in the nuclear stocks, given what's going on in Washington and the probability of funding for these kind of things. Right now, it was a very persistent uptrend. Right now, it's pulling back a little bit. You can see that the pullback that we had back down through here has come up and rested right at that volume weighted average price and the anchored volume weighted average price. So if we re-anchor this one, the place that I'm looking for on this as the opportunity zone is going to be the pinch between, you've got this big move to the downside and this volume weighted average price for the entire session. That tells me, if price gets in there and we get hit right around $47.19, it's got pretty easy movement back down into $46.62. So that's been a trade that's been on the radar all day. I know Biz has been pulling money out of it in the room all day, so congratulations. That's all good stuff. We're also watching Broadcom. That's a little bit more difficult of a play to work out. I think for the purposes of what we're doing here, you can say, if we get up into the top of this range right here, which could put you up into 287.68, that's a good place to look for a reversal. You can see there's been a lot of overhead resistance there. Things have been pushing back on it pretty hard from right there. And, just like these other trades, I think, between Broadcom and the Qs, you can look for things that are just retracing into fib levels, retracing into major support and resistance levels. If Broadcom gets down at a 285.17, you can see it move higher again. If it gets up into 287.68, you can see it make a move lower. And on the triple Qs, if we get down into 559.77, I would definitely say that's a place that it might be looking to move higher again. Okay, so that is my 2 cents on what I think is going on today. I think everything's in place for sort of a good afternoon. Been kind of a quiet day, not a whole lot of activity, but the activity that's been out there has been some good opportunity. If you have any questions, Adrian@traderinsight.com, or shoot me a text, 310-804-2248. That's always a really good way to get hold of me. Sometimes my phone's on sleep, my friends know, but usually I manage to find out who's been trying to get hold of me. All right, have a great day, and I will see everybody